This is More Knowledge, More Wealth with your host, Gabriel Shaheen. Gabriel is a certified financial planner and a registered investment advisor at Falcon Wealth Planning. This show does not intend to provide personalized investment advice through this broadcast and does not represent that the services or securities discussed are suitable for any investor. Investors are advised not to rely on any information contained in the broadcast in the process of making a full informed investment decision. Now here's your host, Gabriel Shaheen.
Good day. This is Gabriel Shaheen, certified financial planner and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend, talking about all important topics of personal finance. My job is to go over the knowledge you need to increase your wealth. Now, to the listener, you can always reach out to myself or any one of our colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can go on our Knowledge Center, which gives you a direct link to YouTube, where we've had well over 1 million views, multiple videos that help answer the questions that you have. And if you want to put an inquiry so we can talk about it on the show or create a Knowledge Center video, please send your inquiry to radio@falconwp.com. That's radio@falconwp.com. And also you can go get this episode, any one of our previous episodes on Spotify, podcasts, you name it, folks. Now, I'm the president of Falcon Wealth Planning. We are a fee-only, non-commission, true fiduciary, folks. And we talk about all important topics of personal finance. That's where you are today, how retirement looks like, investments, estate planning, insurance, folks, you name it. Anything that involves a dollar sign, we can help you with. And we are offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time, folks, at no cost to help relate this show to your specific situation. And we have offices all across the country that we can help you with. Folks, give us a buzz. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird, where we can help answer those questions that you have to help with your financial situation.
Lots going on today, folks. I mean, oh my goodness. The past 30 days of our president, Trump, in office has been insane. You know, it's funny, you're hearing some reports now that Trump's first term, like people were working 7 days a week. Now, I remember Trump's first term, and I don't remember it as hectic as this. I really don't. And they were saying when Biden went in office, they were actually saying that, you know what, we're actually going to be able to have our weekends back. It's going to be a 5-day work week. Now, Trump is here. It's not even a 7-day work week anymore. It is a 24-hour work week. So I'm going to go over some of the top things that our presidency has done, our administration has done in the past 30 days. Absolutely insane. And it's crazy that some of the news actually circulating is more with Elon Musk and Doge. That's getting so much attention. Talking about having a platform on social media, whether you like them or not, that platform is exposing so much. We would have never been able to hear this before. And that's the issue governments had in the past, or has had with social media. It's like too unfiltered, potentially. Where before there was news that they didn't want to come out. Heck, it could be for national security reasons. They don't want it to come out. And they would tell the news outlets, whether it's the newspaper or the television, to say, do not air this. And I can understand from a logical point of view, running a company, there's times I want certain conversations to be behind closed doors with certain staff members. They don't need to know everything that's going on with every associate. So I understand that, right? Well, now it's much on a larger scale. So I'm just giving you the point of view of the restriction that previous administrations had with social media. There are certain things you do not want broadcasted out to the masses because not everything is black and white. And this is the concern that some economists have on the stock market. Stock market likes consistently. It likes to be able to predict, likes predictability. So when you start to restrict predictability, what effects does it have on our investments, on our savings, on our real estate? You know what I mean? What effect does it have on us, on job security? Heck, you're seeing a lot of people now turning in their resignation letters. You're seeing a lot of government workers taking their 8-month severance package. You're seeing a lot of turnover happening. So the question is that does have direct effect to the economy. That's less people have for spending. Now, it does save the government. It's logical. We want the government to succeed. We need the government to succeed to take advantage in a positive way, to utilize a lot of their social systems that we have. Could be something as silly as as important as firefighters and police officers and school system. The reason I say it's silly, that should be obviously implied that we should be getting that as a service as taxpayers. So we got in the sensitivity of things, of just politically correctness. And that kind of ruined things. We're seeing crime that has increased significantly prior to this Trump administration. Heck, you saw that with border crossings as well. The lack of enforcement, it comes to a point of politically correct versus executing and implementing policy. And I'm sorry, sometimes we're going to hurt somebody's feelings. So we saw a majority of America vote for this president because they were kind of fed up of giving too long of a leash to everybody. And that's the problem with democracy. That's why sometimes you've heard, and especially it works in businesses, right? You have one CEO. A good dictatorship is better than a great democracy. Because sometimes it's just consistent arguing, consistently trying to find ways to tweak it and make it better. When you just have a decisive dictator, or we'll call it a CEO, or to be able to make the decision. Look what happened with Thomas Edison and Steve Jobs and some other leaders that we've had, like Elon Musk. When you have a decisive person that says, this is what we're doing, get out of our way, you're either on the boat or we're going to leave you behind, that creates execution. And we're actually seeing that in our government right now, which is insane. By the way, folks, if you're just joining me, you're listening to Gabriel Shaheen, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend. And we're going over all important topics of personal finance. So I'm going to go over like just some highlights of what has happened in the past 30 days. I mean, oh my goodness. The first thing, this is like one of the first things I remember, is like the Panama Canal. He said, we're going to take it back. Let's ignore the Gulf of America, okay? Like the part of me, I just feel like that's just pounding on your chest. I'm the boss. You're going to listen to me. I'm going to do what I want. So it's going to be hard for me to change Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, but whatever. Panama, the agreement that we had, we built it. A lot of our Americans died, so on and so forth, building it out. And we had this lease, and then it gave up. We gave it back to Panama, but now China's running it. And all of a sudden, Trump says, fix it. Panama yielded. We have Colombia backing down. Remember, there was some issues with sending people back, denying it, and there was a whole issue there, along with Mexico as well. They're going to do tariffs within an hour, tweeting or truthing, whatever his app is. They ended up backing down. Mexico, also same thing. They want to send people. They didn't want to accept them at the border, and they wanted to have military at the border. They said no. Well, guess what? They also bent the knee. You have Venezuela also caved. Canada, oh, by the way, like in panic mode. I thought Trudeau was supposed to be out. What happened? Aren't they supposed to be getting some new leader in there? So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but he's proven to not be an asset for the Canadian people. They are extremely unhappy, and I know that having cousins in Canada that are not happy with him. So you have Doge already. I don't know if it's Dodge or Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. This is the thing that Elon and Vivek were supposed to take the lead on. We're only hearing about Elon, right? It's pretty obvious he's a controlling personality. He gets a majority of the attention. But man, is he exposing a lot. Now, you have some other sides of the media saying they're often misrepresented, but then you have it countered back saying, no, it's in fact pretty accurate. So I don't know what to believe. All I know is that there already has been money that has been saving. And now you could track that through Doge. You could actually track some of the things that they've done, which I may go over here in a little bit. For those that's watching the video cast, I'm going to go ahead and look into that to see if I can go to that website and tell you what that is. So I had somebody send that to me. USAID, which of course is part of the Doge, you have him saving money and cracking down on preserved waste, fraud, and abuse. Just some of the money that they had access to. Now, I know there's some reports, hey, it's less than 1 or 2% of the overall spending. It's like, dude, that's a lot. If you could save 1 to 2%, that is massive. So it does matter yet again. So I think that is crucial that you take a look and you understand in regards to USAID and what the hell is happening there. I can have a separate episode on the abuse that's happening there. Just no American would be happy of spending that type of money on those type of processes on international That just makes no sense at all. You have DEI programs that have virtually been shut down. Yet again, this almost happened within the first 10 days. Absolutely insane. And then you have the gender ideology has been, quite frankly, dismantled. Just like policy changes has been rolled back so much on these initiatives, and yet again, the verdict's out on that. I understood the rationale behind it, but the problem is they took it to so much of an extreme. You get what I'm saying? So that is an issue that a lot of people were upset with, like having just men in the women's locker rooms and playing sports, and women getting beat so bad, like an actual combat sports where men were fighting women, which were one of the, not even a top 500 fighter, is now a world champion, because obviously it's a man. It's just different. Serena Williams sums it up so well. It's a different sport. She said she couldn't even return a serve. I think she was talking about Andy Roddick or something. She couldn't even return it. And so anyway, you have mass deportations are underway. You have hostages have been returned. You have bureaucracy significantly reduced. You have the FBI undergoing purges with internal corruption. You have over 50 intel agents have lost clearances. You have border crossings down 93%. You got the California reservoirs have been replenished. They declared a state of emergency. Here is the concern, yet again, from a finance point of view, because now you understand geopolitical matters when it comes to finance. You have to feel like, is this now becoming on a verge of, we'll call it a dictatorship? Like so many executive orders, so many emergency ordinance is being put in place to execute what President Trump and his administration wants. Now, here's the crazy part. The approval rating is over 70%. Like, for a majority of the things, I approve of a lot of these things that he's doing. But that's not the point. We do have a process in this country. So the stock market fears if our president literally could just say state of emergency and do whatever they want, where do you draw the line? Now, today you might not be upset about it, but what about tomorrow when it is a controversial topic? What if they're saying you cannot drink soda anymore because it's too much sugar? You no longer can smoke that cigarette because it's not good for you. I get it. I don't want to smoke a cigarette either. It's unhealthy, kills you, causes cancer. It's proven. But you have the right to do it. You get what I'm saying? Are they going to start taxing things to extinction? Hey, you can no longer have a prime rib steak. That is not healthy for you. Where do you draw the line? This is the concern. These after effects affects companies, affects the stock market. This is why you're seeing the stock market kind of just like, is it going forward? Is it not? There's good days, there's bad days, there's not much movement happening. So, verdict will be out. Folks, I'm going to go on a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to talk more specifics of some of these topics in just a few words. This is Gabriel Shaheen, Certified Financial Planner and President of Falcon Wealth Planning. We wanted to offer you a free financial assessment for listening to the show so you can help relate it to your specific situation. We offer multiple services such as retirement planning, where you are today, how retirement looks like, talking about Social Security, real estate, planning, even if you own a business, talking about taxes, not just how to save money today, but also throughout retirement. Talk about investments, making sure you're avoiding those high fees, costs, commissions, and also estate planning and insurance, just making sure you're properly protected if, God forbid, something were to happen. And we're offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time at no cost. Give us a call. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, and fill out the form fill right there on our site. Welcome back, folks. This is Gabriel Shaheen, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend. And we're talking about all important topics of personal finance. And I went over the past 30 days of our presidency, and I just couldn't believe some of the things that are coming out, and I had to share them with you. So I went over the top, 15 to 20 different items that are coming about. And so the idea with all of this is just that the market likes predictability, and we're not seeing much of that. I'm not complaining. Quite frankly, I'm happy with a lot of the things that are out there, but you have to understand what the ramifications of some of these are. Now, I will go over Doge, and they have this Doge tracking or Dodge tracking, whatever they call it, the Department of Government Efficiency, of what they're spending and saving their money on. But really, if we can right now just lower interest rates, control inflation, and get eggs back like on the shelves and like have people calm down the hysteria. Like, there is more positive than negative going on here. And I'm going to talk about Social Security just in a minute here. But I put in order at this dodge-tracker.com. And just on February 12th, which is about a week plus ago, saved about $660 million on these, what is this, IDIQs, stand for Policy Planning and Learning for Learning Evaluation and Research from USAID. More of that, $650 million, another $650 million on that, just consistently cutting. $231 million task order for systems, digital strategy implementation programs, $160 million. So like, you keep going down this list. So far, over $55 billion of the $2 trillion goal is looking to be saved. So there's still 500 days remaining. And the idea, which just came out recently, was Elon Musk said, hey, let's give a $5,000 dividend to every American. I thought that was also interesting, just as a thank you. Right now, the amount that has been saved, which is $55 billion, is per taxpayer is $360 roughly. So it's just kind of insane when you start to see all of this. And when you look at the U.S. Agency for International Development, that's already saved over $6.6 billion roughly. When you look at vendor cuts, when you look at the International Development Group, the Advisory Services LLC, almost $800 million saved there. SOCHA LLC, $700 million, almost there. MEA Inc., I don't even know what these are. I guess I can click on it and find out. $650 million, another $600 for DEA, and so on and so forth. And then when you have categories, research and development's down, saved $2.3 billion, almost education, $1 billion. Technology systems, $800 million. Environmental programs, $381 million. DEI initiatives, $370 million. And when you hear just the cost of some of these things, such as toilet paper on a plane being $1,200 or whatever it may be, like, it's insane the waste that was going on in our country. Like, you know, it was the first cousin of somebody or the children of somebody of these politicians that were selling something that cost 20 cents to make for $1,200. It is beyond frustrating, and this is what the American people were demanding and asking for. We knew it. You can't keep calling us idiots. And so the stock market, on one hand, likes the fact that we're going and finding and saving money for our government. It makes America more stable. Instead of running a deficit of almost $1 trillion, now we'll be actually having a surplus in our government. I mean, that's crazy, right? So we need to stop the spending. It was becoming overwhelming, and Americans feel that. The counter is somebody was making that money. That's less money in the economy. Sure, we would have higher debts, but now our money, our country is actually spending less money, which is less money that's going into the economy. It's actually going, it's just like you paying off your mortgage. So there is going to be an effect when you just stop spending $2 trillion more. Now, I understand, majority of that was internationally. So this could cause some international effect, right? Of maybe some economy, when you don't infuse the world with $2 trillion and you have global GDP at, we'll call it 100 trillion, let's just call it that, that matters. That affects 2% of global GDP. So be on the lookout of be careful what you wish for. There could be some negative ramifications to this. It's almost like you're having a household budget. You realize you're getting into credit card debt. You have to take one step back to not go out, not buy the Starbucks, save the money, cancel Netflix subscriptions, whatever you have to do to make sure you can pay down that credit card debt. Whatever you have to do, pack lunches, whatever. You know, you're going to feel it. And guess what? The store that used to sell you that coffee or lunch or sandwich or dinner, guess what? They now get less money. You used to give them $5 a day or $10 to $20 a day. Now you don't. That's what I'm talking about. There is a ripple effect of the economy which does affect, in fact, the stock market and your investments and your assets. And there is a supply and demand. The counter to that is, if not as many people are buying, they can't raise the prices to whatever they want anymore because people are saying it's too expensive. They now, to create sales, now they have a surplus of those shoes or those Lululemon clothes. So if they now have more on the shelf because they're so used to people spending, you get what I'm saying? Then that's where there's sales because there's less demand. Supply and demand. It's funny when you look at the core competency of our economy, I would actually be predicting a bit of a slowdown in the U.S. economy because of all of this. You can't just cut $2 trillion. Now, granted, a lot of it was to fraud. God knows what they were doing with the money. But you can't just cut $2 trillion in fusion globally and not expect something to change. Some spending habits have to change, especially when some of these returns were astronomical. I'm going to take it a step further. And we'll talk about Social Security. And it's crazy when now you have like somebody on a mega microphone talking about in Elon Musk of all the things that he's finding. Like that, there has to be some like secrecy, right? I know we the people deserve to have it, but it could cause absolute chaos. I guess we're not like surprised anymore. We've seen so much crap in the past few years. We just like nothing surprises us, but still, he is showing everything. And I'm going to go over that right now. By the way, folks, if you're just joining me, you're listening to Gabriel Shaheen, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend. And we're talking about all important topics of personal finance. And one of the biggest ones that I thought, because I've been a big proponent of Social Security for quite some time, and they're saying it's going to run out by 2032, but when you look at the amount of people that are collecting Social Security under the age of 9, which is 38 million people. Now, a lot of this, people are like, how is this happening? How are they getting it? This could be from disability. This could be from the parent passing, and there is a young child at home. They get Social Security up until 18 years old. So 10 to 19 is another 44 million. Now, here's my comment there. That's almost like, if you just do like quick math, that's over 80 million people receiving Social Security. Like, that seems a little weird to me, right? Like, right? So, in addition to that, you have over the age, this was the big one, of 120 people, you have millions, tens of millions of people collecting Social Security over the age of 120 years old. Now, over 100, between 100 and 120, yet again, you have over 10 million people, almost 13 million people, that are collecting Social Security. Now, I get that, right? Everybody over the age of 65, but when you factor in the 38 million from 0 to 9, all the way down to, we're not even going to talk about all the people that are collecting it from that are up to 369 years old. Let's just ignore that. But you have almost 400 million people, 395 million people almost, that are collecting Social Security. Think about that for a second. America only has 360 million people, okay? How in God's name are almost 400 million people collecting Social Security? I'm not collecting Social Security. Are you? I mean, probably less than 10% of Falcon Wealth Planning employees are collecting Social Security. How about at your employer? How many are over 65 years old or 62 years old? And even if you are over 62 years old, you can only make $20,000 plus because any $2 over that, you lose $1 Social Security. So that'd be stupid to collect it. But like, how is this happening? Like, and how is there not actual audits going on? The amount of fraud, number one, mismanagement, number two, and poor books and records and auditing is just humiliating. It can only lead to one core thing, which is in fact fraud. Now, we've always said every country is corrupt. America is just the least corrupt. I don't know if that's valid anymore. I mean, if we just stop, you overwhelm us with social media, you overwhelm us with news, you overwhelm us with distractions that are happening over and over again. And by the way, if not, we'll create something in entertainment, in sports, in something to just focus our time and attention and just to sit there like zombies and watch it. Well, what is truly happening behind the scenes? Like, it seems like a lot of these conspiracy theories are almost coming out to be accurate. And so the comment of all this is, we've been taken advantage of. But like, now what? We've been conditioned to be like, all right, who cares? As long as I can maintain my life and stay in my bubble and do my thing, everything will be great. But what if taxes actually go down? What if that Elon Musk says he wants to pay out a $5,000 dividend per person? That's almost $400 a month. That's like a car payment. What if they gave you a car, our government? You know what? Like, don't focus on the $5,000 savings of who cares? What can that do for me? Focus on the monthly amount of what can it buy for me? How can it help me? That matters. We still have a large segment of Americans where their mortgage is like under $1,200 a month. And if somebody can pay half of that on your behalf, like, oh my God, that's a big deal. So when you factor in what's going on, there is a ramification that affects us. So I think this year, even though we may have positive things that we're finding, it might be scary, it might be disheartening, you might lose some confidence in our system, but now knowing it may be fixed, with all that being said, there could be some negative effects in our economy. One step back to fix our credit card bills and high debts and get us back on budget and on a track might be infinite steps forward. We may be feeling and seeing some volatility. That is a Gabriel Shaheen prediction. It's a logical prediction when you're looking to stop that infusion of $2 trillion into the global economy, let alone in America, $1 trillion in a GDP of what, 30 trillion? Like, that matters. And be prepared for volatility.
That was a fast show, folks. I want to thank you for tuning in with us this weekend. You can always reach out to myself or any one of our colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can go and visit our Knowledge Center, which redirects you to YouTube. We have over 1 million views, folks. And if you want us to discuss anything on YouTube, on the show, whatever, send your inquiry to radio@falconwp.com. That's radio@falconwp.com. And if you want this episode, any one of our previous episodes, you can go on podcast, Spotify. We have them all there. And folks, we want to thank you for your trust. We want you to feel free and feel comfortable to reach out with any questions that you have. I want you to have a fantastic weekend. Have a great week, and God bless.